Hello. Welcome to Taylor Talks Comics Live. I'm your host, Taylor. Thank you for joining me. If you're here, say hello in the chat. We got James Abel, Popcorn Yellow, Striped Smile. He's here ready with this popcorn. Who else is here? Anybody else in the chat ready to talk comics today? Let me get my screen ready here. Hold on. While I'm doing this, say hello. Let me know what comic books you guys have been reading lately. Chris Brogan, hello. Thank you for joining me. All right. So today on the show, we're going to talk about the Ignatz Awards. We didn't get to that last week. On last week's show, we did the unboxing and had some fun, and we didn't quite get to it. But that's okay because SPX, I believe, is this weekend. Let me double check that just to be sure. And if Harvey Picar's ghost is in the house, this show is just for you. I'm doing this just for you. So I hope you are with us. Yeah, it's this weekend, September 4th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and September 5th, noon to 6 is Small Press Expo. And it is, I'm trying to see how long SPX has been running. So I know Warren Bernard has been running it for quite a while. It doesn't say on the website. Small Press Expo. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. It was created in 1994. So this is 30 years? The 30th anniversary? The 30th SPX. So Small Press Expo is a comic book convention that celebrates and supports indie cartoonists and self-published cartoonists and whatnot. So if you're into that kind of thing, then that's a place to go. I believe it is in Bethesda, Maryland. But one of the big things they do every year at SPX is the Ignatz Awards, where it's kind of like the think of it as like the Eisners for small press indie comics, if you will. So a lot of famous Ignatz Award winners. I wonder if I can find the sorry guys, I should have been more prepared for this. Bear with me. The Ignatz Awards. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I'm on Wikipedia on the Ignatz Awards. Let's go over the history of the Ignatz Awards, just so you guys could see how important they have been over time. Because I think when I go through them today, you're not gonna. Some of you guys might not recognize some of the cartoonists. I actually have not. There's some comics and stuff that I'm not familiar with that are in the nominations, but it's always kind of like that badge of honor, and kind of highlights things that you might not be aware of. So like if a comic has been nominated for Ignatz Award, it usually puts it on my radar for something I'm going to seek out, if that makes sense. So here's outstanding artists winners in the past. Seth for Palookaville in 97. Dave Sim for Cerebus in 98. Frank Cho won for Liberty Meadows in 99. Dave Cooper in 2000 for Weasel. 2001 they were canceled. So there's just the nominees, but no winner. Megan Kelso won in 2002. Jason Little. Craig Thompson for Blankets. David B. for Epileptic. That's a great book from Pantheon. Tony Millionaire for Billy Hazelnuts. Jaime Hernandez for Love and Rockets. You know, I'm a big fan of that one. Nate Powell for Swallow Me Whole. Eddie Campbell for Alec, The Years Have Pants. Eddie Campbell's the cartoonist that did From Hell with Alan Moore. Jaime Hernandez for Love and Rockets Again. Michael DeForge for Lose Number 4. Michael DeForge is one of my I'm a big fan of Michael DeForge. Emily Carroll for Through the Woods. I have that book right here, actually, I think. Yeah. Got this from the library. Through the Woods, right there. Tilly Walden for End of Summer. Emil Ferris for My Favorite Thing is Monsters. It's a great book. And then the most recent one is Olivia Stevens' one for Darlin and Her Other Names. The other nominees for this 2023 were Carolyn Cash for Pee Pee Poo Poo, Kurt Merlot, Benjamin Schipper, and Noah Van Sciver for Joseph and the Mormons. Dun, 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 dun. Elon, love Michael DeForge. Have you read Heaven No Hell? Yes, I have. I'm a huge fan of Michael DeForge. I got this in New York, actually. If you look on my channel, I'm pretty sure I got this one in New York, right? I have a haul where I went to New York and Pennsylvania a couple years ago, and I got this. Yeah, I did. I got this at Desert Island Books in Brooklyn, New York. I'm almost certain that's where I bought this. But yeah, this is a great book by Drawn and Quarterly. Michael DeForge has a new book coming out in, I think, the end of this year, early next year. Hey, James. Hey, Chris. Elon saying hello to everybody. I love it. Share screen. All right. And then outstanding anthologies. I'm just going to highlight the ones that I'm a big fan of here. I don't want to go through every single one. Good Boy Magazine by Benji Nate and Michael Sweater. That's a good one. Shades of Fear won last year by Alison O'Toole and Ashanti Fortson. I've not read that one. I have read Now, though. Now, number 12, edited by Eric Reynolds. That's a great one. Outstanding collections. I think this is for like this is just for like not graphic novels, but collected editions. Our Cats Are More Famous Than Us, a Johnny Wander collection by Aneth Hirsch, won in 2017. That's the first year they had it. The Complete Knee Stuff, though, was a nominee. That's what I would have voted for. I love that box set by Peter Bagg. Hip Hop Family Tree Volume 4 by Ed Piscor was also nominated that year. Then I'm trying to see. Oh, Gleam by Ed Carrasco. That's one that I forget which viewer. If you're in the chat, let me know. There's a viewer that recommended me to read that, and I still need to pick that up. Gleam by Ed Carrasco. I think that was published by Drawn and Quarterly. The Complete Works of Phantom Bukowski by Noah Van Sciver, though, was nominated that year. That's a great book. It was on my top 20 non-superhero comics video that I did. And then Glenn Ganges in The River at Night by Kevin Huizinga is really, really great as well. Trying to go over, see. Megan Kelso won last year for Who Will Make the Pancakes. I think that's a Fantagraphics book. I've not read that one. But Upside Dawn by Jason was great. And Cancor by Matt Ellison. That's amazing. Cancor. Oh, I do have that. This is nothing to do with Ignatz Awards. I just want to show this off because Cancor by Matt Allison is a great book. He's an amazing cartoonist. And the reason why I'm showing this off is because he has been teasing on his Instagram that he's working on a Swamp Thing story. And I'm just warning you guys now that if that's true and this guy does make a Swamp Thing comic, it's going to be the greatest Swamp Thing comic we've had since like Alan Moore and Stephen Bissett and Rick Veitch and John Tuttleben were on Swamp Thing. Because this guy's cartooning is freaking amazing and insane. Like, just check this out if you haven't heard of Matt Allison. His artwork is incredible. And Kankor is a crazy story. I've been following his artwork for a long time, but I wasn't able to get my hands on the last Kankor paperback. But then he crowdfunded this one. Like, just look at that. He crowdfunded this one as his hardcover, and I backed it immediately. And when I was reading this, so I only knew of his like pinups and stuff, but I kind of blew me away what the story actually was. I had no idea what to expect in this. But Matthew Allison, he's been teasing a Swamp Thing story, and I'm just warning you right now, it's gonna be the coolest. It's gonna be so hyped. People are gonna fall in love with it. It's gonna be like Daniel Warren Johnson when he finally came into the mainstream, and people were hyping him up. Definitely check out. Just follow Matthew Allison on Instagram, and just get ready, because if that Swamp Thing story drops, and he actually does it, it's gonna be a big deal. And before we get back to the Ignatz Awards, hello Elon, how's it going? Hey, Elon. Doing well, just came back from work. How are you? Hi Taylor, only recently found your channel, but I'm loving the content. Nice to see something other than superhero comics being talked about. David L, thank you, first of all, for being a new subscriber. If you're watching this on the replay or currently, make sure you subscribe. I'm on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and I need your help. But David, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's something I want to do with this channel. I want to bring a lot of these comics to the forefront, put new eyeballs on them. And the other day, I dropped my first Fantagraphics video of a review copy that they sent me. It was Mothballs by Solitaro. Highly recommend this book. It's really good. So watch that video if you haven't already. Not speaking just to David here, I'm speaking to everybody. And then yesterday, I dropped my Mad Magazine video, where I bought a box of Mad magazines. I'm just holding up the archives because the magazines are covered up right now. That's got a pretty good response so far. And something I'm really kind of excited about is I bought a box of 1950s and 60s era Mad magazines for only $20. So I showed that off on a video that I dropped yesterday, and that's got a pretty good response to it. But yes, David. So my channel, I love superhero comics just as much as the next guy. Well, maybe not just as much as the next guy, but I tend to like Silver, Bronze Age superhero comics quite a bit, but I also love slice of life and horror comics and sci-fi comics and all these other genres. I think comics is a medium that has so much to deliver, and I really do think it's a medium that you can find a comic for anybody out there, non-comic readers even. And it's something I kind of pride myself in, is if someone that's never read a comic book before approached me, I could find a comic that they would enjoy. So it's kind of like what I want to do on this channel. So I appreciate that. That's a nice compliment, that something other than superhero comics being talked about. It's kind of a little bit of a mission statement for the channel. Chris Brogan is okay. Oh, nothing. Just watching my homie Taylor talking about comics. Comics are dope. Thank you for joining me. BJ Kicks over there at Comics Are Dope does a great channel. Everyone go subscribe to his channel as well. I read Gleam, and who actually plug for Comics Are Dope. He did a great video the other day on the Ed Piskor Artist Edition, or Studio Edition, I guess it's technically called, from Fantagraphics. Great video. It's a book I'm jealous that he owns, because I want to own a copy of that, and I still don't own a copy of it. I think I own every Ed Piskor major release except for that one. But if you're a Ed Piskor fan, which I know that there's some people on my channel that are, go to Comics Are Dope, subscribe, and watch that video. I read Gleam and Who Will Make the Pancakes, and I thought they were okay. Oh, really? Okay. Who Will Make the Pancakes by Megan Kelso was on my radar because it was on a Fantagraphics release. And whenever Fantagraphics does a new catalog, I always do a video on that, which are some of my favorite videos to do, because it gives me an idea, or the ability to look at what they're coming out with. Fantagraphics is my favorite publisher, if you are a new viewer. And those videos, you get pretty good response usually too. People like to see what they're putting out. But I did not read that one yet. But Gleam, I had a viewer. I'm guessing it wasn't you, Chris. But I had a viewer recommend that to me, so I need to remember who that was. I really enjoyed the art style on Gleam. The 3 short stories are pretty wild. Mothballs looks amazing. I enjoyed your video on that. Thank you, David. It was really, really good. Comics are dope. The studio edition is in stock at Fantagraphics right now. Oh, winky face. Thank you. And I do love that you did it, and then it's also on the cover. The studio edition. The ED is capital for Ed. That's good to know. And Fantagraphics usually does like a 20% off coupon if you subscribe to their newsletter. So there's a little tip for everybody. So that's I might have to jump on that. I also know that the Ed Piscor's Family Legacy Instagram, like his family runs, they still have some of his books in stock. I wonder if they still have one of those in stock. Because I think that's where Comics Are Dope bought his copy. Was directly from the family at Heroes Con. So maybe I'll hit them up and see if they still have copies. I'm sitting here drawing a comic for the Usagi Yojimbo Dojo 40th anniversary tribute book. They are releasing toward the end of the year. 40 years of a creator-owned comic is incredible. Wait a second, David L. Are you a cartoonist yourself? That's amazing though. I want to know more information on this. Wow, I'm taken aback. 40th anniversary tribute book that they're releasing towards the end of the year. Is Dark Horse releasing that? I love Usagi Yojimbo. I need to do videos on Usagi Yojimbo, actually. I don't think I have any videos on him. Do I? Because I have the Fantagraphics slipcase, and then I have at least the first 7 Saga books. Yes, I definitely need to do that. The Goat. Me? I'm a goat? No, thank you, Jake. Brave and the Boys, another great YouTube channel. Everyone should subscribe. Hey, friends, nice to see you all in the chat. Let's smash that like button. Yes, thank you. Smash that like button. If you're watching this on replay, I appreciate that. And also, if you're watching this on replay, comment down below. I always reply to all comments. And the thumbs up, the comments, you guys in the chat, all that engagement helps put this video in front of the eyes on you, helps YouTube put this video in front of the eyes of people that don't know my channel exists. So all that sort of engagement helps my channel and hopefully will help me on my road to 3,000 subscribers. Dana Andra, Dana, I'm sorry, I probably butchered your last name. Dana Andra. Hi, Taylor. Thank you for joining me. Dana is the editor, I believe, of the Web of Horror hardcover collection that Fantagraphics helped put out. I think it was crowdfunded on Indiegogo, but then Fantagraphics published it as well. I don't know quite how that worked, but thank you, Dana, for joining me. I still need to pick up Web of Horror out also from Fantagraphics. That was a great collection. Web of Horror was a magazine that only lasted for 3 issues, I believe, but then the hardcover collects material from what would have been the 4th issue. And if you're a fan of like the Warren magazines of like creepy and eerie horror magazines, Web of Horror is like right in that same vein and had a lot of same crossover of artists and stuff on that. So thank you for joining me, Dana. Greetings from Spain. Thank you for joining me. Is that Eilbar? Is that an Eilbar? Sorry if I'm butchering people's name. I do apologize. Feel free to correct me in the chat. I don't mind getting things right. Yeah, just a hobby cartoonist. I've done a few small bits here and there for the Awesome Comics podcast. I'd like to get something out soon. Well, that's awesome. The Usagi collection is being put out by fans who are part of the Usagi forum. Oh, well, that's amazing. Is it like the Facebook group, like the Stan Sakai Usagi Yojimbo Facebook group? I want to know more about this. Then I love when fans put together things like that, and I want to be a part of that in some form or fashion, even if it's just promoting it. That's really cool. But David, if you ever do put something out, hit me up. I have a series on my channel where I do cartoonist you should know, where I do self-published cartoonist and I show off some of their works. And I would love to show off some of your stuff. Can you sell me on Batman 66? I was gonna make this joke, but you beat me to it, Jake. Then I can thank Omar for selling it to me. Well, the funny thing is, Omar, it was in his top 10 last month of most wanted releases, so I can almost guarantee he is going to do a video on it. So this could work out. I'll sell you on it, and then when he drops his video, make sure to buy it that day, and then you can thank Omar. But Batman 66 is great. um, do, 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 do. Let me pull it off the shelf here. Sorry for my squeaky chair. So the Batman 66 omnibus is being reprinted. I think it comes out either this week or next. It's a big, thick omnibus. And I absolutely love and adore this omnibus. But I will say that I have a deep, deep nostalgia for the Adam West Batman's TV show. It's probably it is in my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. And I think it's the reason why I love Silver Golden Age comics anyways. So that besides that, but this omnibus is beautiful. Like, just look at that artwork with all the ephemera of Batman 66. And then look at this the image there, the famous image of Batman and Robin, but then the silhouette is Penguin. So Batman 66, if you're a fan of the TV show, then you have to buy this book. There's no need for me to sell this on you because Jeff Parker, who I think did all the writing in this. Let me see. Did he do all the writing? Look at the table of contents here. Pretty sure Jeff Parker does most of the writing. Okay, there's no proper table of contents. I mean, there's a table of contents for each issue, but it doesn't have credits, I should say. Batman created by... Okay, well, I think Jeff Parker does most of the writing in this book. But it all reads just like different episodes of what would be the Batman 66. But they're not like adaptations of episodes. Like, they're new episodes, new stories. You got artwork in here by Mike Allred. Mike Allred does a lot of the covers, too. He might do all the covers, but the interiors are mostly done by someone else, which I wish they had the credits on the front page so I can properly... Colleen Coover is one of the artists. I like to properly credit the artist here, but there's no... I'm going to have to flip through each issue here. Anyways, they read like new episodes of Batman 66. Here's Sandy Jarrell for that artist. And they even mix in characters that were never in those episodes, like Two-Face, like Scarecrow, like Bane even shows up, but done in the style of the Adam West Batman series. So if you're a fan of the Adam West Batman series and you love the charm of those and the kind of the dry wit, dry humor of those episodes, that TV series, then you'll absolutely love this book. I don't think it would be a fan for anyone that wants their Batman to be only dark and gritty and street level, like Frank Miller, Scott Snyder type Batman. If that's your Batman and that's the only Batman you like, I don't think you'd enjoy it. But if you're okay with Batman being a little bit more lighthearted, and some people would say cheesy, I say charming, and you're a fan of the Adam West series at all, I think you'll love it. So there's my pitch to it. And I think Batman, I love Batman the character. I have a lot of things to say about Batman that people probably don't like. I'm of the thought that he can be kind of a fascist at times and things like that. But that doesn't mean I hate the character. I think it makes the character a little bit more interesting and endearing when it's interpreted that way. I know people are kind of get offended when I say things like that, but I think Batman is also kind of like one of those like legend characters, and by all sense of the word legend, and can be interpreted in so many different ways. I kind of liken it to the idea of like, if Batman truly existed in Gotham, most of the citizens would only catch glimpses of him. So it'd be like all these different stories of, I saw him and he actually has wings and he looks like a giant bat. Or some people would say, like, yeah, it just looks like a guy in a stupid suit. Some people would think or say, like, even like just how stories and rumors and news pass throughout today, people would be like, yeah, he's an asshole, he beat up this guy for no reason. Or some people would be like, he's my hero. Like all these kind of legend by every sense of the word type stories. So given that, all the different interpretations of Batman kind of play into that a little bit. So I like to read all these different interpretations of Batman, if that makes any sense. And I love Adam West Batman. So there you go. But yeah, wait for the Omar video and then you can buy it. Yeah, the Facebook group for the Usagi Yojimbo. Usagi Yojimbo 40th anniversary collection. I'm in that Facebook group, but because of algorithms and stuff, I don't think that Facebook group's come in my feed recently, so I'll have to go into there today and look through and see what I've been missing out on. I will 100% do that. Thank you so much, Taylor. Yes, David, absolutely. I love highlighting up and coming cartoonists because that's the hardest part about making comics is hard in general. I think it's one of the hardest mediums to make, especially when you're doing it all your own, like all your own lettering, inking, writing, penciling, all that stuff, coloring. All that's can be so hard. But then the hardest part, next part, is promoting it and like getting your comics out there and getting people to be aware of them. So I like to help with that end because I can't do the other part of it, but I can do the promotion part of it. And I can help people out with that kind of thing. And I just like showing off cool comics. One of the greatest compliments I can receive as a YouTube content creator is when someone tells me, "Hey, I bought that book based on your recommendation." Like it makes me so happy. And then the only next best compliment is, "I bought this book because of you, and I loved it." So I always love hearing those compliments because I feel like I'm doing something for the comic book industry, even if it's just selling a couple copies of a book. So I love showing off comics that aren't getting enough love on YouTube, if that makes sense. I can't watch Very Fine. It's been my Omnidog contract. Well, you did though, and you watched his Taschen video. Speaking of Taschen, I have a Taschen book coming my way, the X-Men Taschen book. It's the last Marvel Taschen book I do not own. So look forward to that video shortly. Also this week I have tomorrow we'll be dropping a overview of the Todd McFarlane Artist Edition. Todd McFarlane Spider-Man Artist Edition will be dropping tomorrow around 9 and 9:30 a.m. So make sure you subscribe and watch those videos. My Artist Edition videos don't always do the best as far as my other content, but I think they're amazing books. I like to show them off. So, check those out. I did do the David Mazzucchelli Batman Year One Artist Edition, which is the best book of 2024. So again, if you're back to Batman, if you're a Batman fan, go watch that video as well. I got the Fourth World Omnibus because of your recommendation on your channel. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you. I didn't set that up, I promise. But again, back to my favorite compliment. I have videos on my channel. If you haven't seen them, I have an overview of the Fourth World Omnibus. It's the first ever omnibus overview I did on my channel because it was the first ever omnibus I purchased back when I got into the omnibus collecting game. Love that book. I actually sold that omnibus a little recently, only because I bought a different format for that book. But I held on to that omnibus on my shelf because it's my first omnibus. It's kind of a important piece, but shelf space is it's a pain to deal with. I'm trying to keep my language PG here. But the editions I bought, well, I have a version of that, or like these. This is Commandy. These standard size hardcovers, but I have the Fourth World ones, which are in these like slimmer hardcovers. There's 4 volumes for Fourth World, and it's the paper stock in these that I love. It's like this newsprinty matte paper, and the color on these looks so much better than what DC subsequently did with the big thick omnibus and then the absolute editions. And plus, they're just easier to read. Like I can throw one volume of the Fourth World Omnibus in my backpack and take it on the go. Not always easy to take the big fat omnibus on the go, but don't deter that. Don't make that deter. Those are out of print. Don't let that deter you from buying the big thick omnibus. It's still a great book, or the absolute editions, which look absolutely beautiful. And I've had to stop myself from purchasing a number of times. But thank you for. I hope you enjoyed it. You said I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it then. And also the fact that I sold it to you on the Near Mint channel is beautiful because I fought for that book to be on the evergreen list, and I had so much blowback from my fellow panelists on the episode, so I'm glad that I broke through to somebody. It was Tuesday. What was Tuesday? Oh, Tuesday that I dropped that video? I don't know what you're talking about. What was Tuesday? Taylor went live. I did. It was in my Discord. It was announced there. Thanks to James Abel for posting the link. And also subscribe so you don't miss the notifications for that. And then on social media, I posted it right before I went live, which is probably not the best promotion. I should have posted that earlier this morning, but things happen. So Josh, I'm glad you joined me, even if you're a little bit late. Josh is a fellow, or not a fellow cartoonist. I'm not a cartoonist. Josh is a cartoonist, self-published cartoonist, and one that I need to still highlight on my Cartoonist You Should Know videos. But there you go, Josh. Josh, I know you're a fan of Usagi Yojimbo. Are you part of this 40th anniversary deal where these people in the Facebook group are putting together a collection to celebrate Usagi? If not, you should be a part of it. Hi, Josh. Hi, Jake. I read volume 1 of Batman 66 a while back by accident, was supposed to be thumbing through and then got sucked in. That's awesome. I love that. They actually have enough material to do a second omnibus, which I hope they do, because because they had Batman 66 meets Wonder Woman 77, Batman 66 meets Green Hornet. Then they had Batman 66 and the Legion of Superheroes, which was a one-shot by Mike Allred. So they had all these crossovers that he did, but it was like enough. Like I almost collected it for my own custom bind for a second volume, but I'm hoping they do it. Now that they've reprinted that one, there's enough material to do a second volume. BJ Kicks. Hey, David L., can people still sign up for the Usagi? Yes, Josh, get in contact with them. You should be a part of that project. Okay, Batman 66 sounds like my kind of Batman. It is. Again, if you're a fan of the Adam West series, Jeff Parker does such a perfect love letter to that series. He hits the tone of that series so perfectly, but with new stories. So it's like you hear the voice of Adam West and Burt Ward in these stories, and Burgess Meredith as Penguin, and Frank Gorshin as Riddler, and Cesar Romero as Joker. Yeah, big fan of that series. So like Batman Adventures, but for 66 instead of Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So the Batman Adventures, which is like the Batman the Animated Series comic book series that doesn't just adapt episodes. It's like new stories within the same thing. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. That should have been my pitch. There you go. Panels with Pete. Thank you for joining me. Afternoon, folks. Hope we're all ready to grill Taylor for his hot takes. I don't have any hot takes, do I? Well, I did call Batman a fascist earlier, so maybe there. You guys can grill me on that. We all need Batman 66 returns a dark, gritty, retired Adam West. There was a comic book series that kind of had a similar idea to that. What was it called? It was from Ahoy Comics. The aforementioned Omar and Melanie both did a video on it. It's like where they have a different name for the superhero because they can't use Batman, obviously. But it's the concept is as if like Adam West Batman and Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns Batman switch spots. So like the Dark Knight Returns Batman goes to the Batman 66 universe, and the Adam West Batman goes to the Dark Knight Returns universe, and how they interact that way. It's like what's it? It's called something like it's like not a whole new world. It's something like that, but it's like a kind of a generic name for it. But that's the concept of it. I've not read it before, but I want to. So it's kind of what you're talking about there. My Artist Year 1 arrived Saturday. Oh, so you did pick it up. Good. It's a beautiful book. Well worth it. Terry is the only Batman. That's a hot take. I wasn't the biggest fan of Batman Beyond. I think I missed the boat on it a little bit. I don't know if it's due to my age or not, but Batman the Animated Series was tremendous. I absolutely loved that and adored it as a child, and still adore it today. But Batman Beyond was around the point where I stopped watching Saturday morning cartoons so much, and I don't hate it. The episodes I've watched I like okay. Will Friedle is a great voice actor, and I did love the movie, The Return of the Joker. That was a great movie, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest Batman Beyond fan though. Elon, I love Michael DeForge. Heaven No Hell is still in my to be read mountain though. Great book. Where did I just put it? Michael DeForge is an awesome cartoonist. I actually went through and read a bunch of his comics a couple months ago and plans to do a video highlighting and stuff, and I never got around to it. The video part, I read the comics, but I have a lot of Michael DeForge. Actually, the stack's still right here. Like I have a Western World. This one is very casual. These are Koyama press releases. Dressing. This is a little hardcover. I think that's Koyama press too. Yeah, it is. And Familiar Face. This one is drawn in quarterly. But he's one of those cartoonists that, like, his comics stick with me. And I love his kind of abstract style to his cartooning. But he's one of those cartoonists that I want to collect everything he's ever done. Whenever I see a Michael DeForge book, I pick it up. Fascist. He's Judge Dredd. I think Judge Dredd is kind of a parody satire on the fascistic superheroes. So in a way, Pat Mills, though, one of the, I guess, co-creators of Judge Dredd. I know that's debatable if Pat Mills was truly a co-creator or not, but he wrote a lot of the early stories. Definitely has that viewpoint that superheroes are fascists. Go and read his Kevin O'Neill story, Martial Law. I have a video on that on my channel in the Kevin O'Neill playlist. Go check that out. But just go read Martial Law by Pat Mills and Kevin O'Neill. That's all you need to know about Pat Mills' views on superheroes. I think they made a movie about that called Gotham Knight. Which part? I'm sorry, I'm behind on that. What you're talking about or referring to exactly? Basically, you want Batman to be the end of Boondock Saints. I don't want Batman to be that way. I just think he can be. I'm also I'm a big Frank Miller Batman fan, which is maybe that guides my viewpoint a little bit of how I feel about Batman. Like I love Dark Knight Strikes Again, which Brave and the Boys, shout out to him, is going to have me on his channel one day when I'm prepared. He's prepared. He's ready to go. But when I'm ready for it, to talk about how I think Dark Knight Strikes Again is underrated or misunderstood, I think I should say. And because I feel like people pan that and lambast it a little bit too much. But I think there's a direct through line of hold on. No. The direct through line, if you read Batman Year One and all of Frank Miller's Batman works, All-Star Batman, all the way through Dark Knight Strikes Again, Dark Knight Master Race, there's a through line of the same Batman character that he's writing and how Frank Miller views Batman. So people that love Batman Year One and love Dark Knight Returns, and then hate the rest, like that's the same Batman all the way through. So I think and if you read it that way, when you go to read Master Race and Dark Knight Strikes Again and All-Star Batman, which are the ones that people hate, and you don't recall that that's the same guy that he wrote in Batman Year One, I think there's some sort of disconnect there for most readers. And I want to highlight that one day because I think there's a through line on all of those. That's kind of why I want a Frank Miller Batman omnibus so people can read it all in that same context all at once. Because I don't know that a lot of Batman readers have read that. I think it's like people read Batman Year One, and then later on they'll read Dark Knight Returns, and then later on they might try out Dark Knight Strikes Again, or they might try out All-Star Batman. But to read it all at once in that context, I think would be eye-opening for some readers. Is that water or whiskey in your cup? Coffee. Good old coffee. I had that one for Demon. I love hardcover those size. Which book? Oh, the Jack Kirby ones. Yeah, so I'm trying to collect these now. I sold all my Jack Kirby DC omnibuses. Like I sold the Commandy one and the Bronze Age Jack Kirby one because they released all those stories in these books. So I'm trying to collect all of them in these. I think there's like 14 maybe. And all I have is I have Fourth World, I have the 2 Commandy ones, and then I have the first. It's called Jack Kirby Omnibus, which has all of his Green Arrow stories and a bunch of his Golden Age era DC stuff. So what is that, 7? So I have half of them, those hardcovers. I'm trying to get the rest, but I kind of purposely sold my other omnibuses so that it would entice me to go buy these. But I love them. The Demon one's one I'm missing though, and I also want to get the Steve Ditko ones. There's 2 Steve Ditko volumes done in the exact same format, which collect all his DC work. And next year they're releasing a actual proper sized omnibus collecting all the same work of those 2 books. But I want the smaller hardcovers. The Evergreen panel are children. Kirby is amazing. I know. Still to this day, I don't think, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but on all of the Evergreen panels from the Year Make Edition, I don't think there's a single Jack Kirby book that was selected at the final concluding list of any of those panels, which is a crime and a tragedy. And I think that's why they don't let me. I haven't been invited back on any Evergreen panels. So maybe there's a controversy there. Maybe they got sick of my Jack Kirby propaganda. No, I'm just kidding. But they're doing another one. What is today? Wednesday? Tomorrow. They're doing another one tomorrow for Evergreen. What is it? I know it's on the Near Make Edition schedule. I should know this as the Near Make Edition social media guy. Let me see here. If you go to the Near Make Edition social media, it's their pinned tweet and pinned Instagram post. Marvel event Evergreen. So I don't know that would include. I think Jack Kirby doesn't have any Marvel events that would be on there, unfortunately. Unless you do like the Galactus trilogy. I know there's a book release for that. But I digress. Very fine condition. Hate any books from 1950 to 80s. Basically, yes. And they all make fun of me for it, but hey, I'm here to represent those eras of comics. I don't want them to die off. I'm not on Usagi, but just posted on that group asking more about it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you did, Josh. I'm glad you did. Because you should be a part of that for sure. You're a big fan of Usagi. You're a great cartoonist. They need to have you on that project. The purpose of Indiegogo crowdfund for the Complete Web of Horror was to raise money for advance payments to the contributors and their estates. Fantagraphics was a publisher. Thank you for clearing that up, Dana. So there you go. Web of Horror hardcover that was published by Fantagraphics. The reason why it was crowdfunded from Indiegogo was to raise money for advance payments to the contributors in their estates, which is amazing. I'm glad to hear that, Dana. I've not watched your interview with Omar yet. I'm going to, I promise. But I'm sure you cleared that up in there as well. But I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of these old reprints of comics, which I love and I adore, and I'm glad that they're preserving the history of those comics, but they don't always have any money filter back to the contributors, which is unfortunate. So I'm glad to hear that, that you put that together for that purpose. That's amazing. So just another reason for you guys to support that project and buy the Complete Web of Horror hardcover by Fantagraphics. I wonder if it's still in stock. Because I think it's sold out of the first print run. Do they do a second print run on it? But I know it's spooky season coming up, guys, in October. And if you want a cool horror book to buy, then check out Web of Horror. Okay, why is this not loading? Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to see if... There we go. Web of Horror. Why don't I just share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing here? Share screen. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. Add to cart. Yeah, it's still in stock. Oh, that's a special edition. Oh, the regular hardback is sold out on Fantagraphics. So this is the Web of Horror book. You see, it's a horror magazine from 1969, collected at last. The special edition slipcase is still in stock for $125 on Fantagraphics website, but the regular hardback is not. I wonder if not that. I wonder if In Stock Trades has it. Nope. So it might be kind of hard to find then, unfortunately, unless you want the special edition. Web of. So they need to do a second printing of it, it sounds like. Let's look up on Cheap Graphic Novels. Out of stock there too. Okay, well, it might be a little hard to find, but hopefully they do a second printing of it. Dana, do you have any information on if they're doing a second printing? David L. Just checked out your art. Absolutely love your style. Followed on Twitter and X. Perfect. I'm glad you did, David. Everyone should follow Josh. Thanks, David. Got more information on Usagi. Hashtag cancel Taylor. What? Hold on. What's going on? Is it because I said Batman was a fascist? Darwin Cook made the intro. The intro to what? Batman Beyond? Is that what you're... I'm trying to recollect and things that you said back then. What's the figure next to Andre behind you? Oh. That is David Puddy from Seinfeld. With his 8-ball jacket. Any Seinfeld fans in the crowd? That is, dang it, who's the actor that plays David Puddy? He played the Tick also. He does a lot of voice work. Patrick Warburton. So you're probably familiar with him at least. Just learned about Pat Mills with Slain. Yeah, no, we talked about Slain in Pat Mills' work. I would recommend reading Martial Law, though. It's great, especially if you like Kevin O'Neill. Boondock Saints ends with them interviewing the public about the Saints. You get all the responses you can imagine from pros and cons. I don't remember that. I watched Boondock Saints in back in like high school, which is a long time ago. But I don't remember that ending that way. Maybe I need to go back and watch it. Like the Forge has been hit or miss, hit and miss on the two I've read. I really liked 6, Angelica, Folk Hero, and didn't like the Big Kids. I haven't read Big Kids, so I'll keep that in mind. I have not read everything from Michael DeForge, but I've read quite a bit. The viewership's getting up kind of high. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you for joining me. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching this on replay, comment down below. All those things help out the channel. They're free ways to help out the channel. I appreciate that. I don't read a lot of manga, but I'm enjoying Dandadan. Exciting, silly, imaginative, a bit of a titillation and romance without veering into cringy territory. It's fun. Dandadan. Is that... Because there's a few manga that have like similar names to that, but I'm trying to make sure. Although I don't know if I should search this now that you... Manga. Okay, yeah. So it's by Yukinobu Tatsu. Viz has just been recently collecting that, right? The art style looks pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. Panels with Pete. Read Ant Colony is my favorite DeForge book, but I've at least liked everything. Yeah, that's a good one. Western Worldwood's good too. Is this the one that has... Because DeForge does like get into that abstract kind of art style eventually, and like kind of everything he does comes out in that style. But I'm trying to remember. Oh, here's Peter's Muscles in Very Casual. He does this strip on Peter Parker and Spider-Man, which is really fun. So if you're into superheroes and you want to try a Michael DeForge, maybe try this one out, because he doesn't do that a lot. A lot of his stuff is more abstract. But he's such a great cartoonist. And such a fun, inventive cartoonist, too. So, check out Michael DeForge. I'll check that out. Thanks, Pete. I've got to head off now, but I'll catch up on this later. Thanks for the excellent content, Taylor. Take care, all. Thank you, David. And thank you for letting us know about the Soggy collection. I'll check that out. The Evergreen panels never select anything before 2010. I'm not joking. Well, I mean, the X-Men ones, they had that big argument about the Phoenix Omnibus and Claremont X-Men, like that. They have some stuff before that, but yeah. Event Omnibus, no one needs that. Well, I don't disagree, but at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, 9/12 is that Evergreen. I mean, there are still there's some good Marvel events that are worth, like Infinity Gauntlet. I feel like that omnibus should be Evergreen. I don't own it. I don't know if I own any. I don't think I own any Marvel event omnibuses actually. Fake NMC fan. Don't tell Omar. Comics are dope. I say this to Omar's face, sort of. I have to go one knee and then say it. Unless you're calling Josh a fake NMC fan. Josh, I'm sending some stuff over to Usagi Goya this evening, so I'll let him know you're available. Agree that you need to be on this project. Oh, amazing. Thank you, David. Okay, so it seems like it's not too late, Josh, and maybe you could get on this project. That's amazing. I love that because, again, Josh is a great cartoonist, and he loves Usagi Ujimbo. Amazon still has copies of the complete Web of Horror. That's good news. So maybe the book market still has a bunch. Just popping in to say hello. Thank you, Coley, for joining me. I love IST, but hate things just disappear. Yeah, that's true. Batman Beyond intro, and why we are canceling? Oh, but you're canceling me because I'm not a big Batman Beyond fan. You're not canceling me because I think Batman's a fascist. Okay, that's fair. Sick putty figure, the OG plain rod dog. Yes. That's funny. I didn't think about that. The new rod dogging on the airplane thing where you it's like a trend where you just look forward. Sometimes if it's like a international flight, you're just looking at the map and the plane crossing the map, like the tracking or whatever, but you're just looking forward. You don't go to the bathroom, you don't eat anything, you don't read anything, you just I guess that's raw dogging on a plane. I don't understand these trends. It's like eating Tide Pods or something for these kids. But that was Putty. That was his method on the plane with Elaine when they got in a fight every 2 minutes. People seem to love the Annihilation event. I have the Omni unread, but I've wondered if I should read Guardians Run first. Well, no, you shouldn't. The who Abnett Laning. The Abnett Laning Guardians Run that takes place in the beginning of the War of Kings omnibus, like the Road to War of Kings and War of Kings. I think that's all collected in there. So you should not read it first because it goes like Annihilation, Conquest, and then Road to War of Kings, and then Post War of Kings or whatever that omnibus is called. The whole entire Guardians run is collected in those omnibuses if you read them in that order. So it'll be in there if you read them all 5 of those cosmic omnibuses in that order. That run will be in there in the proper order. So you can read Annihilation first. Is what I'm trying to say. I will say I wish they did more indie or branch out more than the big 2, but who am I? I'm assuming you're thinking of the Evergreen videos. They did do the library, the 10 books that every library should have kind of thing. I was not a part of that panel, but that was a cool one they did where they branched out more. If that's what you're referring to. But I agree. I think that'd be cool. I think Omar has talked about maybe the possibility of doing like the 10 greatest comics of all time list or something, and or most impactful cartoonists or most impactful comic creators. And I will just say this: if Jack Kirby, if they do that list of the top 10 most impactful cartoonists, and they do it in a panel with a debate and all that stuff, and Jack Kirby does not make that list, I'll cancel Near Mint Condition. All right, because there's no one in comics that's been more impactful than Jack Kirby. No one. I think people even say like Osamu Tezuka could be up there in competition with Jack Kirby for impactful cartoonists. But I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And Osamu Tezuka, or Tezuka might have done more pages than Jack Kirby. I don't know if there's the math on that or not. But as far as like global icons and created characters and impact on pop culture, I don't know that. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. But regardless, even if you have Tezuka up there ahead of Jack Kirby's number 2. Jack Kirby's up there. If there's a manga one, I think I'll be there. I'd love to be a part of the manga one. Chris Claremont just all 10 times. I mean, yeah, basically, right? Kirby can compete with Great Lane's Legacy. Ooh, Panels with Peach trying to get canceled now. I'm assuming that's a joke. Razor Ramen. I always say your name wrong because Razor Ramon. I know that's. I'm assuming that's the name. Your name's a joke. Play on the Razor Ramon character. Huge wrestling fan, especially from that era. But Razor Ramen not only does very fine not like Kirby, he doesn't like Love and Rockets. I know that's 2 strikes, right? 2 strikes. He does have the box set now. That one, right there. I don't know that he's read it in that format though. He's only read the Love and Rockets in the paperback omnibuses format, which I truly, in hindsight, in a few years after the fact, I don't know that that's the best way for a new reader to collect and read Love and Rockets. I think the box set actually is probably the best way for people to be introduced to Love and Rockets because it collects like facsimile editions of every issue, and I kind of wish they released those hardcovers because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I kind of wish they released all 8 of those hardcovers separately as like individual volumes for people to buy. I think it'd be a better gateway into Love and Rockets because that's like a $400 box set, like cover price. Some places have sold it for a lot cheaper than that, but that's a huge ask for someone to jump onto. So really, it's only been like Love and Rockets diehards that have been buying that thing. But I think that's the best way for new readers to read it. Carl Barks might be the number 1. I know he is the reason Tezuka started comics. Carl Barks, as far as influence, would definitely be up there because he also influenced a lot of the underground cartoonists like Art Crumb and those guys for sure. Harvey Kurtzman would be another big one because Harvey Kurtzman had the huge influence with EC Comics on war comics. Also created Mad Magazine, and then also mentored and inspired all those underground cartoonists as well, which those underground cartoonists then directly lead into anything we know about independent comics today. So Carl Barks, Kirby, Tezuka, Kurtzman would be like easy 4 for me. I think Eisner would have to be up there. Trying to think of other ones that would be big names. I don't know. It's a great conversation though. Just popping back in to say Usagi Goya, the deadline is October for submissions. But if you have time, he's happy for contribution. Hopefully that's enough time for you. Bud Plant has copies of the Complete Web of Horror, and Amazon seems to still have copies. We haven't discussed the second printing yet, but there very well might be a paperback edition. Oh, interesting. So there you go. Bud Plant, I don't know the website for him, for his shop online, but just look up Bud Plant Comics. I'm sure it'll pop up on Google. Has copies of Complete Web of Horror, and so does Amazon. So I need to jump on that before I miss out on, because I do want the hardcover edition. Haha, I'm happy for him, but man, Omar has all the nicest things. That box set seems great, but $400, nope. David L., I will make time. Oh, great. Milton Caniff, yes. Milton Caniff is also hugely influential, especially to like Jack Kirby was a huge Milton Caniff fan. So that alone, like that direct line of influence. Have you started reading any of those Mad magazines yet? That was a crazy deal you got. I have. I've read a couple issues already, and I love them. Razor is referring to my Mad Magazine haul video I did yesterday, where I bought a box of 50s and 60s era Mad Magazine for only $20. It was the funniest thing too, because I'm not the type of guy that goes into this flea market like Omar is, and I commend him and I look up to him for this because he always talks about how he like barters with people. Like he'll go to flea markets, like, oh, maybe $5 for this. in Wheels and Deals. I'm not that guy. Like I don't have the kind of personality where I can just like walk up to someone and be like, "You have this priced at $20. Well, let me go for 5." It's just not my personality. I don't know. Maybe I'm a coward, but this guy walked up to me with a deal. I was just flipping through them because he had them marked at $4 a piece, and there's about 35, I think, at the end of the day. But I saw that what era they were. Like I looked up, I saw like instantly their 50s, 60s era. I was like, holy crap! I've never seen these in person. And Mad's not collected. Unfortunately, DC Comics owns the license to Mad Magazine, and they've done a crap job of collecting them. We have like some random collections of them. The Mad archives are great, but they're out of print. Unfortunately, I'm missing volumes 2 through 4 of the archives, and they recently did the Spy versus Spy omnibus, which is great. But I hope they do more. Anyways, so they're not well collected. I've never seen these things in person. In the 50s, 60s era is like where Al Feldstein editing era, where you have like Wally Wood still in there. Jack Davis is in there towards the end of that era. Al Jaffe, Sergio Aragones, I've learned starts in that era. I'm trying to think of other cartoonists, David Berg. But anyways, so I was just flipping through them to see like cartoonist name that I recognize and maybe pick up an issue or two from this guy. But then he walked up to me and was like, "Hey, let's have a conversation about those." And I was like, "Oh no!" I was expecting to be like $100 for the whole thing because I was not willing to pay that much, and I didn't want to. I'm just socially awkward with these situations. It's a curse. But then he's like, "I'll give that whole box for $20." I'm like, "What?" And I was like looking over at my wife, and I was like, "Is this real?" Like I was not expecting to buy comics today. And then I found another stack of Mads underneath that weren't in the box. And I was like, "Well, you have these too." And he's like, "Throw those in the box too. I've been carrying those around in my truck for a few months. I just want to get rid of them." I was like, "Okay, buddy." So yeah, it was a great deal. George Harriman probably as well. Maybe Schultz. Oh, those are both. Yes. George Harriman for sure. Schultz for sure. Hugely influential to a lot of cartoonists. Man, I like the idea of this list. Maybe I need to do this video before Omar. I need more Sergio collections. I wish we got more Mad collections. I agree on both counts. Sergio Aragones, I guess he's against the idea of doing big collections of Gru from like the beginning to end, big comprehensive omnibuses. I guess he's against. He'd rather people just read spot stories here and there. It's unfortunate though. I wish there were big collections of Gru. Like I want to read Gru so badly, but there's just not. It's not well collected. Maybe I just need to pick up the collections that do exist and read it. I don't know. It's not hard. You just have to be able to walk away is the key. Yeah, but it's not the walking away part that. Well, actually, there is some anxiety and social awkwardness with walking away, but also just the negotiating part. I don't like. I feel uncomfortable asking for less than what the person priced it at because I feel like they priced it at that for a certain reason. Even though some people do price it with the idea that people are going to negotiate down, but I hate that too. I hate the whole small talk, the whole principle behind that. It annoys me, kind of, really, honestly. Like if someone has something priced $100, then you should pay $100. This whole like, well, they priced it at $100 because they think they might ask for 80, and then like that whole thing annoys me. Just price it at whatever you're willing to sell it at, and just buy it for whatever the person priced it at. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. It's also crazy that the Max is out of print and a lot from Wildstorm. Max is out of print. I think a lot of that has to do with Sam Keith and his. I I think he is very not self-deprecating is not the right word. He's not proud of that work. I think he's very self-critical of that work. Unfortunately, because I think it's amazing. So I think that's the reason why it's not in print currently. I hope that changes for Sam Keith and he reprints it because there's a lot of people that would love new collections of that. Love to see a Kickstarter for a complete Mad Magazine by decades. Yeah, I mathed it out after this, and they did 550 issues around about. If they were to collect it in like 25 issues volume hardcovers or something, that would be about 22 volumes, which is a lot. But I kind of wish they would do something with it. I mean, that is a lot, and it's a lot to expect anybody to buy them like that. But I think maybe something like Kickstarter would get people on the bandwagon. Heard from a pal of mine who knows Sergio well. He heard Stan didn't do well with the hardcover of Usagi, turned him off. Also, I think he used to doing it all himself. Stan didn't do well with the Usagi hardcovers, as far as like I'm assuming you mean profit made. That kind of annoys me because why do they do such limited runs then? I feel like he would have done well if he just didn't sell them at 1,500 copies per hardcover and just sold them to the masses as hardcovers. That's interesting. All right, guys, I got to go. I got some errands to run before I go pick up my son from school. So I'm gonna go through my last plugs, get your last chat comments in, and I'll address those all before I get out of here. But tomorrow I'll be dropping my Spider-Man Todd McFarlane Artist Edition overview. Please go watch that. Check that out. Yesterday I did my Mad Magazine overviews of my 50s, 60s era Mads I picked up. Check that out. That video out. Even if you have a cursory interest in Mad magazines, maybe there's some cool content there for you, or if you're a big fan of Mad. And also the intent for that video was I got a lot of comments on that, which is great. Anyone is a big fan of Mad Magazine, I want to hear about it. I want to hear your thoughts on Mad Magazine, your favorite issues, favorite eras, favorite cartoonists. I want to know more about Mad Magazine. It's a big hole in my reading, something that I'm trying to explore more of. Also, go check out my video on Mothballs by Solitaro. This is the first review copy I did for Fantagraphics. If you want to help support the channel, I'm trying to get those videos up so that Fantagraphics will see this partnership with my channel as a fruitful one. I did get feedback from Fantagraphics directly, in Tucker Stone, the guy that sent that out to me, said that he really enjoyed the video, so that's good to hear. Check that out, though. Always to support the channels, to watch those videos, comment on them, thumbs up the videos. That all helps helps YouTube see that people like that content, and then they'll put the videos in my channel in front of the eyeballs of people that don't know my channel exists. That's all easy, free ways that help support my channel, which I appreciate. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching us on the replay, comment down below. I always reply to all comments, so don't be afraid that you missed the live chat kind of thing and you missed out on the conversation. The conversation can continue in the replays. And if you're watching this in the chat and you have one more comment to make before I get out of here that I don't see, reply, just comment down on the replay version. I think because it's such a limited run, I think he's doing better since they released them in softcover. Well, he should have done a limited run. I think that was a strange thing to do, in hindsight. But what can you do? Make James a mod. Dang it. I need to do that. I need to do that. Thank you, Josh, for reminding me. Josh even sent me a video on how to do it. James, you're going to be a mod by next week. That's my goal. Also, you have a Discord. I do have a Discord. Go down into the description of this video. There's a direct invite link to go to the Discord. We talk comics there. We also talk other pop culture things like wrestling and movies and music and those kinds of things as well. But if you want to chat in a nice community that loves comics, go to my Discord as well. Thank you, James, for reminding me of that. And everybody, keep reading comics. Keep making comics if you're making them. Keep loving comics. Keep talking comics. All that jazz. Have a great week, everybody. I'll be back next Wednesday for another live stream.